a note that I had written some years ago about skipping breakfast is not an option. There's about 17% of Americans who skip breakfast. If you're one of them, research shows that you're more likely to overeat and be overweight. And there's a long list of health risks that come with being too heavy. In contrast, breakfast eaters are more likely to be healthier, have lower cholesterol levels, and experience less stress. Skipping breakfast is not an option. This does not mean that breakfast should be biscuits and gravy or sausage and white pancakes. If you're traveling, grab some oatmeal packs, bring some raw nuts with you, walnuts, etc. And I just wanted to share, I grew up on a dairy farm, and we had a furnace, a wood-burning furnace that heated the house. And in Minnesota, it gets cold in the wintertime. So by morning time, the house was pretty cold, but there were still coals in the furnace to stoke. You would throw that wood in there, and it would heat the furnace up. Our bodies are the same way. We go all night, we don't eat. We need to have our system stoked and have fuel to get going for the day. And so breakfast is important. And another thing, I was just reading a study, the Adventist Health System, which has been the second study, which has been going on for 10 years, which I'm in that study. Oh, are you? Yeah. Oh, yeah. A number of meals per day that are optimal for weight control has been controversial among the health professionals. You know, you hear about eating 5 to 6 meals a day and how that's, healthy. The recent work in the Adventist Health Study 2 has produced clear results showing that the better weight control on average was experienced by those study members who ate fewer meals, who consumed more calories earlier in the day, and who had a longer overnight fasting. And so just to let you know, that whole thing about eating the frequent meals, I don't think is all that. And so our stomach is like, it's a muscle. And so if you're constantly putting food in there, it's always having to work. You're not letting it rest. And so it needs to get a rest. Okay, so we're going to start tonight with waffles. Waffles is probably my favorite thing. And before we even demo that, I'm going to talk about oil, because we're going to be spraying the waffle irons with oil. And I don't know if any of you have seen one of these. This is a Pampered Chef. If anybody needs I have a great little girl, Melissa Armour, who I get my Pampered Chef from. And I just got this one. I had an old one that was probably 15 years old. It wasn't working very good anymore. I just got this. This is awesome. But if you look at Pam spray, do you want to know how many calories are in a spray of Pam? Any idea? Any guesses?
I thought it had 0.
Yeah. You know why it has 0?
Because all chemicals.
Because 1/4 of a second is a serving. Who even thinks about spraying 1/4 of a second? That's why they can advertise and say 0 calories. And when you look at the ingredients in here, silicone, do you want to be eating silicone? And amongst other things in here that would probably not always be the best. So I just want to let you know that there's devices like this that you can fill with olive oil and fill it up and just, spray. And there you go. And that's a healthy, olive oil is healthy. So with that said, we're going to move this to the back burner, and Miss Linda is going to help take care of the waffles in a little bit. I'm going to show you, I always make my batter the night before and let it sit overnight, because when you make what we're going to be making, the next morning, I don't know if you can see how thick this is? It's so thick you'd never get it in the waffle iron. So what I do the next day is I add water to this until it's the consistency. How many of you have waffle irons? I knew somebody here wouldn't have one, because she doesn't cook. But it's always nice you can.
I've heard of them. Mine was my husband's.
So this needs quite a bit of water. in it the next day. So when you're having to add all that extra water, that is giving you more batter, isn't it? So I'm going to let Miss Linda kind of work the last of this in, and then she's going to start our waffles for tonight. Doesn't need much more. Okay. Okay, so how do we make these waffles? Oh my, talk about easy. First of all, I double this recipe all the time, so it's going to have 4 cups of water and cashews. So we're going to use a cup of cashews. We're going to use a cup of coconut. We're going to have 2 teaspoons of vanilla, which now we're going to do 4 because we're doubling this.
Do you make them all, or can the batter stay in the fridge?
I make them and I freeze them a lot. I have waffles in my freezer most of the time because my grandkids love these. And then 2 teaspoons of salt, the real salt, because it has all the nutrients.
Is that sea salt?
Fine sea salt. And then I usually get this going with the Mighty Vitamix once again. And then we're going to start adding the oatmeal. All there is to that. That's making waffles. You put that in the fridge tomorrow morning, whenever, it's going to be ready to add water and put in the waffle iron. They cook for about 15 minutes because they're whole grain, because they have the oats and the cashews and all that. So my lovely assistant is going to put that in that container. There's some spatulas there.
So is that gluten-free, or there's gluten in the oats?
No gluten.
If you use gluten-free oats, they're gluten-free.
Yeah, and these come from Aldi's, so I can't guarantee that how much they are, but oats as a rule doesn't have any gluten unless it's been processed in a plant where they just did wheat ahead of time.
Okay.
But oats per se doesn't have any in it. Okay, how was that for easy?
Now tell me, did you use cashews in there?
I did, those were raw cashews.
Why?
You saw that.
Why not like pecans or something?
Oh, you can, if you want. Recipes are just suggestions, Okay, the next one that I want to make is millet pudding. I love this dish. This is like over the top awesome. Only I'm going to need that. I'm going to need that one. In fact, while she's doing that, we'll work on something else here. I'm going to make some, these are crispy peanut butter bars. And again, I really like Rice Krispie bars, but I won't eat them because they have what in them? Marshmallows. And you know what marshmallows are made of? Chemicals, pretty much. And I think they have pig parts in them. I was actually looking that up today when they talk about animal parts.
Gelatin, cow parts.
Cow, yeah, it could be cow. I've heard those, some have pig. So, and these Rice Krispie bars, we're going to put some some peanut butter, and
Or you've got a phone call. I'm going to ignore it.
Yeah.
Now I got to get back online.
Oh dear.
Okay, I think we're back on.
Okay.
Starting live video. There we go.
And So we did a half a cup of peanut butter, a half a cup of honey. And do you remember the little trick to do the honey so it comes out easily? We spray it with our handy little spritzer so that that's going to come out readily. And then I have something I use. It's soy powder, a soy milk replacement. So you can put that in here, and that can all get mixed together, which we're going to do later because I'm not going to take the time. And then to this, we're going to dump in the Rice Krispies. And when it's all said and done, Madame, do you think you can stir?
I'll try.
I know that's a challenge for you.
talent.
Yeah. When it's all said and done, because they're easy peasy, and when I add the Rice Krispies, I just usually do my hands. And sometimes for something different, I'll throw in some cacao chips, but this is what they look like, and you're going to get to try these. So they're just simple. They're so simple to make.
Have you tried that with other nut butters? Because sometimes peanut butter is just a little too peanut buttery for me.
Try almond butter. You could do cashew butter. It's a recipe, a suggestion. You just do what you would like to do. Okay, next we're going to make this millet pudding. Yeah. This millet pudding I really like. Oh, by the way, when I was talking about oils, I just wanted to tell you how caloric oils are. Do you want to guess how many ears of corn it takes to make 1 tablespoon of corn oil?
No idea.
Try 14. 14 ears of corn to make 1 tablespoon of corn oil. And so oils are a very concentrated food. Want to guess how many olives it takes to make 1 tablespoon of olive oil? About 27-ish, somewhere in that ballpark. 4 large olives is about 2.5 grams of fat. So they're high in fat, but it's a good fat. So anyway, okay, with this millet pudding, what we have, and I cooked the millet ahead of time because it has to be hot when we do this. What you do is you take 4 cups of pineapple juice and 1 cup of millet. How many of you have heard of millet before? Okay, millet is a seed and it's heavy in bird seed. It's probably the #1 ingredient, but it's so incredibly healthy. It's a good protein source. And so, anyway, I just wanted to show you what that was. So, a lot of times with my grains, my rice, my millets, whatever, I will put those in the liquid ahead of time. Like if I'm going to make rice in the evening, I will put it in water several hours ahead of time. It's just a fluffier grain. I do that with quinoa also. So, with this millet, I did that. I went ahead and
You soaked it.
I soaked it and
For how long?
then I cooked a couple hours. I did that. So we have this millet that we're going to put in this. So this is what it looks like when it's cooked. And just like anything else, you put it on. I know. Here. I'm going to do this. You put it on high and then turn it down for about 20 minutes and just leave it. And I don't put it all in at once. I'm going to put in part of it. So we have the millet, and then we have cashews. And I soak my nuts ahead of time because they're more digestible because this is a raw dish. And then lemon extract, which I don't use. I do lemon juice. It calls for 4 tablespoons of lemon juice and some lemon extract. I just add a little extra lemon juice, fresh lemon juice. And then a teaspoon of salt. So we'll put that in here. And again, this is something I make ahead of time and then put it in the fridge overnight so it's cool the next morning because nobody wants hot pudding. And then the honey, which again, I went ahead and sprayed this so that it came out readily. And then it has vanilla. 1 tablespoon, 1 tablespoon of vanilla. Okay, and then we're going to add this. And here's where I just kind of go between and oh, you guys are not going to believe how good this is.
From here, that kind of looks like tapioca.
Wait till you taste it. It is delicious. And again, it works better when the millet is hot. I have done this when the millet is cold and it's very hard on the machine. How easy is that? And that we don't have to do anything with. We'll just leave that sit. Okay, something else that I make a lot for me is smoothies. I do smoothies almost every morning. And I like getting my greens in. So a lot of times I'll just take, I don't even know what kind of greens these are.
Yeah.
These are kale, a type of kale. So just putting that in there. I use coconut water because coconut water is high in electrolytes. I read that coconut water was used back in World War II days when they couldn't get blood. They would infuse with coconut water. And so if you look at the ingredients in here, again, it's a great electrolyte drink. And I'll throw in a chunk of ginger. And I had all this celery, and I said, how am I going to get it used up? So I decided to throw it in my smoothie. And there we go. And so we're going to whiz that together. More water to this, but I also put in chia seeds and dump that in. Where did they go?
Is that it?
No, that's millet.
Oh.
Okay, but I just wanted to show this to you. And after we're off, we'll finish this up. I just want to give you some ideas. You can use different greens every day. Do kale 1 week, spinach 1 week. And mix up your different vegetables. And then a lot of times I add a banana to this to sweeten it. Some days I use ginger, some days I use cilantro, just whatever. So I'm telling you, you eat food like this, you are going to have tons of energy because this is all live. This is full of enzymes. It's excellent. So we'll finish this up. I just wanted to give you an idea. And the last thing we're going to demo tonight, in my freezer is some, on the bottom, is some raspberries. With this one, This one is just, it says pineapple cream topping, but we're gonna mix it up. And there should be frozen ones in the freezer on the bottom. Right on the top. There they are. Thank you. So you can do whatever you want with these. You can put fresh blueberries in, frozen. This was a good thing to do frozen. But it called for pineapple, but I thought, we already have pineapple in our millet pudding.
What did you just put in there?
Tofu. So we do a box of tofu.
And if this doesn't matter if it's silken, medium, or hard.
I like the soft for something like this. And then we're gonna do a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm gonna guess, because that's what I have close. And then a little bit of salt. And this is gonna be our topper for the waffles.
Uh-huh.
So there. This will be delicious.
If you don't use all that, will it keep in the fridge?
For about a week or so. This won't last long though. This is so good. Oh,
Could we have a copy of the recipe?
absolutely. Okay, and the other thing I left your recipe for, and there's a taste tester, I'm not gonna demo it, is sweet bean cream to add more protein. But this has dates, fresh orange juice, water, 15-ounce can of cannelli beans, almond butter, orange zest, vanilla, and cinnamon. And you mix that together and it's a great paste to put on top of your waffles. That adds some extra protein. Anyway, I know we covered a lot of items, but I wanted you to I only see you once a month. And I'm so sorry we couldn't meet last week. But we're gonna try all these different foods, and if you have any questions, anything before we sign off?
What is that in the cup right there?
This is the millet. That's the
Oh.
bird
That's
seed.
what she
Okay.
soaked.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I had ahead of time.
So you can
One
see.
one thing, the other, the smoothie,
Uh-huh.
can you make that in a bowl?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
That's what I was gonna ask, is a food processor as good as the?
You can,
vitamin?
well, probably not. It won't blend it quite as smoothly, but try it and see what happens. But I'm telling you, again, smoothies are my breakfast probably at least 4 to 5 days a week. And if I'm gonna be gone a long time, I put a scoop of protein powder in there. It gives more satiety. And also I'll throw an avocado in there, because that's a fat source and it's gonna last with me. But I'll have that in the morning and that will last me till like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So, and then eat an early supper, about 3. You're eating twice a day, and there you go. Okay, I'm gonna sign off. Thank you so much for coming, and we will see you next time.